What's up people? So today we have the KTM 390 Adventure X. So this is going to be more of an inside review about this motorcycle. What I meant by that statement is that you might have seen the 390 review a lot. Like the base 390 standard is there, so the same engine, most of the parts are shared across this platform. But this 390X actually targeting to a set of people. So let's see what all the changes of this motorcycle compared to the standard variant and how it is going to help someone who is planning to buy this motorcycle on budget and especially without losing much fun. So first of all, let's talk about the changes. Basically this get few color variants like this one and the black one, which actually looks much good. That's what I feel. So the main change is it actually loses the TFT screen. Now it is getting a normal dial. You can see it over here, which we have already seen with the Adventure 250 and all, and a few electronics it is losing. The traction control, I don't really see a need for a traction control if you really know how to control the throttle. It's not a matter at all on this motorcycle. And second thing is the quick shifter. In my opinion, you are not really missing anything by losing that quick shifter, because I have one of my friend who actually bought this standard variant. He himself already told that the quick shifter is not that responsive compared to the other quick shifter that we have seen with other motorcycles. So most of the owners are telling that it's a kind of an average field, so don't feel bad about losing that quick shifter. And then we'll use the cornering ABS on this one. If you ask me, yeah, that's a really nice feature, but you get an dual channel ABS on this one, and we can actually switch it off as well if we want. And then we loses this adjustable levers. So that much. With that kind of a change, actually you get this motorcycle for around 60,000 lesser than the standard variant. So that's the changes. And also the standard variant is getting Metzeler tire and this one is getting MRF tires. So in my opinion, the Metzeler tires are more stickier. This one is not at all bad, but I feel the Metzelers are good if you are really looking for some hardcore off-roading. So now let's get into the review. So first of all, let's start from the looks. This motorcycle actually looks damn good in my eyes. This kind of a design has been grown on me in the past few years, except the fact that the number plate is sitting over there, be it for the front section or the rear or the tank portion and all. It looks really good. So let's start from the front. So the headlight unit that you see is the same headlight that we get with all other variants on this motorcycle. The headlight throw is not that great. That's why many of the owners use the auxiliary lights. This get MRF tires, kind of okay feel, that's my feedback, and you get very good brakes on this. And the suspension feel is also good. It's onto a softer side, but it doesn't have too much of travel if you want to do hardcore jump and all. In that case, you have to go for the SW model, the spoke wheels variant. And coming on to this section, we have the 373cc engine, which has been there in India for a very long time. Started with the Duke, then to the RC, now to the Adventure. I don't know whether KTM will bring up a cruise around this engine, but still a random thought. And here we can see that exhaust, which also looks neat. Coming on to the tail section, if you remove that long tail end and put a tail tidy, it will look gorgeous. I'm 100% sure about it. And we have the same longer seat, very broader seat, comfortable one for the rider, as well as the pillion grab rail is also good. It's wide. Only thing is it looks a little bigger, but it's very functional, and the pillion comfort is also good. And we have a little bit of difference in the switch gearing over here. It doesn't get the normal standard 390 switch gears, because that joystick kind of a thing, everything is removed because you don't have much of options in the dial. So let's turn on the dial. It's an LCD display, neat. It packs in all the required information there. Let me get on and take the side stand so that it doesn't complain. Okay, now it shows the fuel range, trip time, average speed, average fuel consumption, fuel range. And if we click the set button, odometer here, trip 1, trip 2, we can change the riding modes. So this is in road mode, and we have off-road mode where we can turn off the ABS. And we have the speedometer, gear position indicator, tachometer, fuel level indicator, time, and a heat level indicator. Actually, the information in the dial is actually good, even though we misses out few of the electronics. And the information is actually really packed in. Now let's take it to the road and see how good this motorcycle is. Alright, we are back on road. So first of all, let's talk about the riding posture. So then we have to categorize this motorcycle into two parts, like road riding and off-road riding. So when it comes to road riding, the riding posture is actually very nice, because you have a very wide handlebar, you get a lot of control on the bike, and as well you're actually sitting tall, and that gives a lot of confidence while driving. But when it comes to off-road, actually, when we stand on the foot peg, I always felt that this handlebar could have been a little more raised. If it would have been a little more raised handlebar, then I feel that taller guys also don't have to put a lot of pressure to reach onto the handlebar. Otherwise, the riding posture is really good, the seating comfort is good. And now let's talk about the braking. So the braking is actually very nice, one of the sharpest brakes that you can find on an adventure motorcycle, and very practical to use as well, be it road or off-road. Pretty sharp and very nice to use. And when it comes to the suspension, the entire suspension setup is onto a softer side. So the good part is, if you are going through these kind of roads, or if you are even running through a bad patch of road inside city, the suspension will actually give you a lot of comfort. But on the other hand, if you have to run it through a deeper pothole, or if you are taking a jump through an off-road section, then I'll say that the suspension travel is not that great. Sometimes that front number plate can go and hit the front mudguard. Otherwise, it's okay. So before we further go into the review, I actually would like to introduce my riding gear sponsor in this video. So all my riding gears, my jacket, glove, riding pants, the boots, everything is from Dynasty India, and it is provided through motomadness.in page. So if you would like to see what all riding gears I'm wearing, all the details are there in the description. And if you wanted to know the review about this riding gear, I'll be soon posting individual reviews about these gear on my Instagram page, so you can check that itself. So details about the products are there in the description, you can go and check it out. And the confidence from the tires, as I mentioned, if it was Metzeler, I would have been a little more happy. So if you plan to buy this motorcycle, run this motorcycle with the MRF tire itself, when this is done, you can actually upgrade to Metzelers, which gives you better control, in the sense the riding will be different, controlling the motorcycle will be different, the braking will be different. Now let's look at the price point. So this is now priced at 3.7 lakh, which is like around 68,000 lesser than the standard variant. The standard variant is actually 4,38,000. So in that sense, I'll say that if you are someone who was waiting for the 390 for a better price, then I'll say this is like a steal deal, because you get everything what you want, like for the road use and for a very good off-road use as well. This motorcycle is actually perfect. The only one thing which I personally miss on this motorcycle from the standard variant is the cornering ABS, because it's a safety feature, that's all. And actually this motorcycle goes for service once in 7,500 kilometers, and it will cost you something like 5,000 rupees. And also the current owners are getting a mileage of 25 to 30 kilometer per liter. That's also a really good thing. So now let's talk about the verdict. So in my opinion, I'll say that this is a wonderful motorcycle for your city use, highway use, and for mild off-roads, because for this price point you are actually not missing out anything. If you're someone who is actually looking for a budget motorcycle, then this is going to be a very good motorcycle with this 390 engine. And if you're someone who is actually upgrading from a scooter, then I'll say that you have to get some more experience handling this kind of a powerful machine, because the 390 engine is actually a really powerful engine. So you have to be a little careful over that. Otherwise, once you know how to ride a motorcycle and you know how to use the clutch, the gearing and the acceleration and all, then it's not a lot of big problem. And don't shy away from this motorcycle thinking that it's a tall motorcycle. First thing, it might be a tall motorcycle, but it's not a heavy motorcycle. That's actually equally good as well as bad. It's good because for an advanced rider, and when they take this motorcycle for off-roading, it's much easier to maneuver. The negative side is, if you are a beginner, then probably you might get overconfident over the period. You will get confidence, and at one point there is a chance that you'll go overconfident. That's why I told it's a negative as well as a positive point. So altogether, I'll say that I have a very good positive feel about the motorcycle. Budget friendly, easy to tour. Only one thing which I found when we tour on this motorcycle on highway is that there's a little bit of vibration that you see, like when the RPM is below 4,000, you'll see a knocking feel, and this head actually shows a little bit of shaking, and that vibration comes on the handlebar and on the foot peg. And also, if it is post 8k RPM, then also I can feel a little bit of regular vibration on the handlebar and the foot peg. And when we run through the city, we have decent heating issues. And also one thing which I observed when I go on highway is that post 110, 120 speeds and all, there's a little bit of confidence issue from the front side. It's because of the crosswinds first, and secondly, I believe that it's because of the tire, because the suspension is actually getting relaxed and the tire is not that gripping good compared to the Metzeler. So there's a little bit of a wobbling issue. I don't really say that it happens all the time, but if you have a high speed corner like this and you're going in 120 or above that, it's not at all legal, I know that, but still, if you're going in that speed, then you face that wobbling a bit. That's also there. Otherwise, I don't really see any negatives with the motorcycle. So that's my take on the Adventure 390. So if you have any doubts on this motorcycle, do let me know in the comment section, and as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.